Hello my loves, it's Erin here. Today we're going to set up my travel journal. This is the actual notebook I'm taking around Europe with me right now. It's from the Washi tape shop. It is the Floating Clouds journal, and I have a discount code for the Washi tape shop in case you just fell in love with it and want to get one for yourself. Right now I am in Dublin, Ireland, which is so exciting. But these are the spreads that I set up before I left home to make sure that I was organized on the trip, and there's plenty of space left in the book still for the actual journaling in the moment as I travel around Europe. But these are the spreads that helped me get organized before I left and are helping keep me on track on this kind of crazy multi-city, multi-country trip that I'm doing right now. But I'm going to start with a cover spread, partly because I just love doing them. They're so much fun. They kind of get you in the mindset for the rest of the setup, and they set the tone for your journal as well. But also because I don't expect to fully use this book up on my trip, so I think it's fine to use a couple of pages for a bit of a cover spread and just enjoy it. I picked up those beautiful vintage looking papers from AliExpress. I will have links to everything in the description in case you want to also get your hands on them. The bottle sticker that I've cut in half is also from AliExpress, and this little bit of paper came from a set that I got on Stationery Pal. I'm using my very favorite white paint pen. This one is from Peter Pauper Press, their acrylic paint marker set, and I'm using that to letter the word Europe on this tag, which I thought was appropriate for a travel journal as a way to put a title on the front there. I didn't want to put any titles over the top of the lady that's on the left page, so I'm covering some of the patterned one that's on the right side instead. And the color scheme for this book was very much inspired by the cover of the notebook with the beautiful aqua blue clouds, so I've kind of tried to lean into the blue a little bit, but I can never resist adding some pink as well. I'm using two washi tapes quite a bit in this setup. The one I'm sticking down now I got from Daiso in Australia. It is a beautiful, very subtle damask pattern. It's a bit tricky to see on camera, but it is so beautiful in real life. I actually just thought it was a solid color when I bought it, which is kind of funny. And the other one you'll see later, it's from the Washi Tape Shop's Petals and Parchment set. I used it before in my October bullet journal setup, and it is one of my favorite washi tapes ever. But in setting this up, I kind of decimated it a bit. I used a lot of it, so now I might have to buy another set just to get that washi tape again. The spread I'm currently working on is my itinerary. We're away for quite a while, a little bit over 4 weeks, and we're going to a lot of cities. 9 cities all up, so I needed to have lots of space to put my itinerary in here, something to refer back to in case I forget. I'm going to bust out my PHOMEMO MO2 mini printer here because I wanted to have a little icon for each of the modes of transport and hotels and stuff like that so that I can differentiate them on this list. A stamp I thought would be really good, but I don't have any to do that. And I also have a little template that I thought might be really fun because it has, I think it has the plain icon, but it doesn't have anything else for the others. So I just printed my own here. I made this on Canva, just using their graphics, and I printed it out with my little PHOMEMO printer, and now I'm just chopping these up. But I did want to mention, with this PHOMEMO paper, if you don't have this edge to peel it up, it's really difficult to get the sticker off the backing sheet, so make sure that you peel it up before you cut anything down to size, if it means that you'll lose that edge, otherwise it's going to be really hard. Just adding the headings for each of the columns here. I've got dates, city, and details there, so I can put things like hotel information, what time our flights leave, flight numbers, stuff like that. Adding a little bit of decoration with my washi tapes here. I've gone a little bit less hard than I would ordinarily go in my month-to-month bullet journal setups, just because, to be totally honest, I was running out of time before I left for my trip to do this, so I couldn't spend as much time on it as usual, but it was sort of great to force me to go back to basics a little bit. This is more along the lines of how I used my bullet journals when I was starting out, although my lettering has improved significantly since then. Oh, I'm using a different washi tape set here. I got this one from Wish ages ago, and I want to say decanted it. I unraveled it all onto a card because it's easier to store that way, it doesn't take up so much space. This paper pad is from Stationery Pal, and I'm using one of the Kuretake Zig brushables to letter the word itinerary on the top here. I'm only going to use this for the heading. I'm just going to get rid of the rest of the paper for this one, maybe use it somewhere else in the journal, not too sure yet, but that's going to be my heading here. I didn't want it on white paper because the Washi Tape Shop journals actually have this beautiful creamy, slightly off-white paper, which I love. I think it is so beautiful. So I wanted to stick to that theme a bit here. And these tiny little flower and plant stickers are also from the washi tape shop. These are from the Delicate Floral Wreaths washi tape set. It is just one roll that has tiny little flowers and leaves on it, and I think it's super gorgeous and so versatile, and I use it all the time. Turning the page, this is going to be a vital spread for me. This is my packing list, and the way I've set this up is so that I have my packing items along the top row. I'm going to have to write them vertically to make them fit in the space there. And down the left side, the first column is going to be where I put each city that we visit, that we stay at least a night somewhere. So this way, for each city, I can tick everything off across this master packing list spread, make sure that I don't leave anything behind. I'm not usually the kind of person who accidentally leaves stuff behind anyway, but hey, it doesn't hurt to have a list, and to just have one list that I can refer back to every time. I'll get into a good routine, I think, and it will be very easy to keep track of all of my stuff. This is that incredibly stunning washi tape I was referring to earlier from the Petals and Parchment set. It is so romantic and beautiful, and I wish it was a never-ending washi tape roll. I have this little stash of leftover envelopes from a project from years ago that have been coming in really handy lately as a scrap paper to letter on and then cut out so that I can get things into my journal really easily. They are an absolutely gorgeous paper stock, and I'm going to be pretty sad, I think, when I run out of them, but for now I'm using those basically all the time to do this kind of thing. And I've actually positioned this packing list heading in a spot on the envelope where the peely-offy sticky part is on the back of this heading, so that I only have to put glue tape on the very edge of it because it's already in the perfect spot. So I can just stick the sticky down that was already on the envelope. How resourceful. With the packing list done, we're going to turn the page. I've been using sticky notes to plan out the order that my pages will go in new layouts lately, and I really like that system. This page is an interesting one. I'm calling it Transfer to Main. So I have some trackers in my main bullet journal that I need to be filling out on the last day of every month in order for them to work, and I'm not going to be in the country with that bullet journal on the last day of the month for January. So I decided that I would make a specific page for it so that I can list out all of the things that I would like to track on that day, put them all in this journal, and then I just have the data available when I get home. Things like income, I have a few different income streams, so I like to keep track of things by category so that I can see where I made money through the year. Also, my savings status, which might be diminished given that I am currently living the high life overseas, and also my social media tracker. I'm not worrying too much about my spending because I can just look back through my bank and my credit card history to access that information, so I don't feel like I need to put that in my journal, but I might change my mind and start doing it as we go. At the time I'm recording this voiceover, I haven't left yet, so I don't know. I'm really not caring too much about how this journal looks because I'm not going to have all of my stationery and all of the time on my hands that I usually have at home to make this work, so I'm not putting too much effort in. I'm not ruling any of my lines. I'm happy for them to be a bit wobbly and strange because I really want to just live in this journal and not stress about it. Also, this is my first time using the Kuretake Zig brushables, and they are such lovely brush pens. They have this really cool thing where on one end they are a more saturated color and on the other end they have a more pastel color, at least in this set. And that's so great. So I'm just going to take these 5 or 6 pens from the set. I picked these up from Stationery Pal, and there's a link in the description again in case you'd like to check them out for yourself. I'm taking this set of, I think it's 6 pens, and that means I've got 12 colors without having to bring 12 pens, and I really like that. This gorgeous pastel moon sticky note is also from Stationery Pal, by the way. I always think the texture on it sort of looks like icing on a cake, and so when I look at it, it makes me really hungry. If you're enjoying this video so far, by the way, feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below so that YouTube will show it to some more people. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see a flip through of this journal when I get home with everything filled in, and also all of my actual traveling around Europe spreads that come after these pages. I'd like to know if you'd like to see that. After I set up the pages after this and this one that we're about to do now, I thought of a better use for it. I couldn't think of anything. I was like, should it just be a quote page? Everything else I wanted to do was a double page spread, so I just had this one left over. So I grabbed another beautiful blue toned page from that same set of scrapbooking papers from earlier, and I'm just decorating it here. Later on, I decided it could have been a great spot to put a wrap up of all of the expenses of the trip. I want to really be able to break it all the way down and see how much this whole trip cost, from flights and accommodation. Sorry about the focus here. It will get better, I promise. From flights and accommodation all the way down to experiences and food and stuff like that. But I didn't think of that till later, so I will still have a spread like that. It just won't be in that spot in the book, but that's fine. It's a living, breathing thing. And that is the whole beauty of the bullet journal method, is that you can just put things in whatever order, and as long as you know where everything is, then you're doing it right. There is no way to mess it up. The spread I'm working on right now is the first in a series with a wobbly line down the right side, because I find it really hard to draw close to the edge of the page and stay steady. I'm setting up one of these spreads for every city that we're visiting. So the left page is for important information about how to get to our accommodation, if there are any public holidays when things will be closed that we need to be aware of, what kind of currency they use, what kind of rail card we're going to need, that kind of thing, so that I can do all that research before I leave, which obviously I have already left at the time this is going up, but I hadn't when I was recording this. And the right page is a lot less structured. It is a bucket list, so things that I really want to do while we're in that city. As much as I am a bit of a planner, I also like to travel kind of freely. I don't like to necessarily have everything booked in for every day and say we're going to eat here and then we're going to this attraction and then we're going to this bar, whatever it is. My partner Chris and I have been traveling together for a long time because we've been together for like 16 years. So we have a really good system where we kind of we mood travel, you know, we do what we feel like doing that day, and it works out really well. So having a list like this gives me something to refer to when we can be like, what do we feel like doing today? And we can check the list and be like, yeah, let's do that item. And then we get to do all of the things and the time that we feel like doing the things, and it's fantastic. And each of these spreads are exactly the same, just for each different city. So I'm just gonna speed through this next section because they are all the same. And last but not least is the aforementioned trip cost breakdown page spread. In this case, it could have been a page, but I have a spread, so I'll dedicate a spread to it, because why not? I'm not totally sure how I'll end up using this one. It will be an after the trip kind of fill out thing, so I've just left myself a lot of space in the middle of the page. I put the heading at the top just straight on the page this time, a little border around the outside as well, which I somehow missed recording, not sure how that happened, and some stickers and washi tape just to pull everything together with the theme. This way the page is still really flexible, so when I work out how I'm going to need to use it when I get back, I can just do that. And this is one of my favorite things to do when I'm not sure how I'm gonna end up using a page. I do it quite often. And now that I'm in the decorating mindset, I'm going to go back through and decorate all of my city information pages as well. There we have it. Here is the flip through of my travel journal, all ready for my trip. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some ideas for maybe your own travel journal. If you have any travel planned in 2023, let me know in the comments if you do. I'd love to know where you're going. I do also have another video on my channel from when I was planning my trip in my regular bullet journal, more for the stuff that you do at home before you go for the trip, if that makes sense. So if you'd like to see that video, I will have a link in the description for you so you can check that out. I've kept my little reminder post-it in this one so that I remember what I want to write down on these pages, what I need to research for everything. If you'd like to follow along on the rest of my trip, I've still got about 2 weeks of it left, so you can follow me on Instagram if you like. I am at erinsmith.art, and I'm posting a lot of stuff to my stories over there, so come and travel vicariously around Europe with me if you'd like to. That'd be fun. Also, if this is your first time here on my channel, hello, I'm Erin. I make bullet journal and stationery videos. I post a new one every week on Friday evenings, Australian time, and I'd love to have you here as part of my family, so please feel free to hit subscribe and stick around. It would mean the world to me to have you here. And after the trip cost breakdown spread, the remaining pages are for me to fill with memories and photos and bits of guidebooks and whatever we have around us that we can rip up and stick in journals. And when I say we, I mean me. Chris is not journaling the trip. I'm gonna get back to my adventuring now, but thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will see you again for another video just about the same time next week.